All right, it is exactly 4 p.m., so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the virtual college fair. We're super excited. Just want to give a quick overview before I turn it over to the panelists this morning, and that is, how do I ask questions? You're going to use the Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time, and the Q&A button should show up at the bottom of your screen in the menu. So different than regular Zoom, the Zoom webinar does not have a chat feature, so all of your questions will go into the Q&A. Please ensure your camera and microphone are off. You're already muted, your video's off, so the panelists can't see or hear you. If you want to sign up for more sessions, you can check out the schedule at strivescan.com/Alaska. This also is going to be recorded, and so all recordings will be available. All sessions are being recorded, and you'll be available at the same website where you registered, so please register for more opportunities. At this time, I'm going to mute myself and stop the video and turn it over to our panelists for our presentation. Please ask any questions that you have in the Q&A. Thank you.
All right, very cool, Kim. Thank you. Give me a second while I share my screen. Can I get a nod that you guys can hear me fine? Cool. So welcome, we're the University of Idaho. So we are extremely excited and happy to be able to talk with you today. I'm Matt Johnson, I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here at the University of Idaho and responsible for our out-of-state recruiting. And I have three panelists from across the university that will speak to you here shortly. They'll introduce themselves just prior to them speaking. But just for some context, University of Idaho is down in, obviously, Idaho, in northern Idaho, in a town called Moscow. We have about 12,000 students, 9,000 would be undergrad students, 10 different colleges, 8 of those would be undergrad, the other 2 would be the graduate school and College of Law. And we'd just like to share our recent ranking in U.S. News and World Report as best in the West for public universities in terms of value. So really proud of that, and that's kind of meant as a teaser, because if you want to know more about Idaho, come speak to me tomorrow, session C3 from 2 to 2:45. So make sure you sign up for that. But what we're really here for is talking about playing with dirt. So when we were looking at what we would like to talk about and share about, being in the outdoors is something that we do very well here in Idaho as well, and we certainly educate on that. So you're going to hear from 2 different colleges. You're going to hear from Maggie in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. You're going to hear from Mindy in the College of Natural Resources. But then you're also going to hear from our career services, Wendy. We decided to kind of start big and talk about what your future could look like as far as a career, and then kind of work backwards on what that would look like on campus. And so with that, you already heard about how to kind of ask questions, and so we'll work through that as we go. There's a video here that should hopefully play.
Matt, I don't think you're in presentation mode yet.
Oh, you're killing me. Just what we said I wasn't going to do. Thank you. Wait for it. It's going to be worth it, trust me. I've got 3 different screens going on, so I'm not sure which one's talking to me. So embarrassing. I don't know why it's not playing. All right, it's doing something. Give me a second. Sorry.
You're okay. If it doesn't work for you, I can try from my screen. I'm getting it pulled up here too.
Well, let me know if you have it.
I've got it pulled up. You want me to give it a go?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Is that right?
Yep. We're not on the video yet. There we go.
Now I can't get away from it.
I know. I'm having
There
the
we go.
same problem.
All right, Maggie.
All right. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. We are all thrilled to be here today. My name is Maggie Elliott, and I am the Director of Recruitment and Student Engagement for the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences here at the University of Idaho. I'm thrilled today to be able to share with you the opportunities we have in this college. Today, we are here because we feel like these programs that we're sharing today are some that students are attractive to students who may not want a desk job. So if you're interested and engaged in a coursework and a degree program with hands-on opportunities and a 94% placement rate, meaning that 94% of our graduates have a job within 3 months of graduation, look no further. We're here today to speak about just that. Thanks, Mindy. So first program I'd like to touch on is our Department of Agricultural and Extension Education. And really at the core of this program is designed for students who want to be able to convey the principles of agricultural science, whether that be in a formal classroom environment or informally through being a representative of a governmental agency or commodity organization. There are 2 degrees within this department. agricultural education, where you become a high school agricultural education instructor, or agricultural science communication and leadership, which is a degree where you learn an interdisciplinary approach to agricultural science and you emphasize in different areas of agriculture to gain a well-rounded knowledge of the industry. But really at the core, these people who are attracted to these degree programs are set on becoming advocates of the industry. Next slide, please. Our next department is the Department of Animal, Veterinary, and Food Science. Now, when you think of agricultural, you are probably think of livestock, animals, and barns, and these are integral components to our agricultural program. We have 3 separate facilities, all vested in learning about different species. We have a beef center, a sheep center, and a dairy center, and our courses are fully integrated into these hands-on opportunities. Our students help vaccinate our herds, they help deworm, they help deliver the calves and lambs. They are there from every step throughout the life cycle. And it gives them hands-on opportunities that they can take away into their career outlooks. The students who study animal science often take jobs as being operators of ranch, production managers, sales representative, or meat processors. But another part of this department is the food science department, is the food science program. And a degree in food science will help you become a product developer. And really what that means is, so if you're interested in helping with the food processing industry, maybe that's in yogurt development or fermentation science. But there are a lot of opportunities in this industry right now because as you can imagine, the world population is growing and everyone needs to eat. And so our graduates are very highly coveted because of the elevation of the food processing industry in the state of Idaho. And so with a food science degree, you'll be well equipped to become a product developer, quality assurance manager, flavor chemist, or food microbiologist. Another note about the food science program is that we work in collaboration with another land-grant institution that's only 8 miles away. Washington State University is very close, and these 2 programs work together. And that works in advantage of the student because students get the best of resources from both of those institutions. They get to share faculty and all the laboratory and equipment space and just get a really great look at a really key insight into both of those programs. Next slide, please. If you know anything about the state of Idaho, you might know that we are well known for growing potatoes. The state of Idaho produces the most potatoes out of any state in the country, and the University of Idaho actually produces 80% of the germplasm for all of the Pacific Northwest potatoes. Germplasm is living tissue that allows other can grow from, essentially as a starter. We develop 80% of the starter for all the Pacific Northwest. As you can imagine, that makes plant science a cornerstone of many of the industries in the state of Idaho, and it's something that this department is heavily invested in. You can study crop science, horticulture, biotechnology and plant genomics, and crop management. We have an extensive greenhouse system where different areas are allocated to different environmental controls and factors to help breed hardy plants and drought-resistant, drought-tolerant plants to help support the industries across the state. Students who study plant science often assume the role of an agronomist, extension educator, nursery manager, or farm managers. If you feel like you have a green thumb and you're interested in learning how to hone your skills, whether that be in tree fruit managing or learning how to cultivate disease-free rootstock, this is a program that I would encourage you to look into. The School of Family and Consumer Sciences at the University of Idaho is the first of its kind, was the first of its kind in the Pacific Northwest, and that's something that we are very proud of. This department holds 6 emphasis areas, the first of which is apparel, textiles, and design. Apparel, textiles, and design is essentially a fashion merchandising program in which our students are able to use our product development studio, which is a 1,700 square foot facility with updated sewing machine and sewing equipment and machinery to help you design and fabricate your own portfolio of clothes. We also have, and then we have other emphasis areas that really I see as being consulting services, which help empower rural communities, whether that be child development, early childhood development and education. We have a child development laboratory, which helps students, which holds students from 3 to 5 years of age, essentially as a preschool. So college students have the ability to see the transformative development in this really pivotal time period in a child's development process. We also have programs in family development and personal and family finance. And these are really counseling services to help families grow and to be economically stable and sufficient. Lastly, in this department, there is a food and nutrition program, which helps prepare students for a master's in a dietetics program. We have a teaching kitchen, which has up-to-date facilities and demonstration labs for students to be able to understand how food is prepared differently in a restaurant environment as well as at home. All of these programs, students will walk away with real-world experience that will help set them apart in a competitive environment as a job candidate. The next program I'll speak about is Agricultural Economics and Rural Sociology. And this department really deals with the finance side of agriculture, whether that be ag business or applied economics. Something that sets this program apart is our collaboration with the College of Business's Barker Trading Program. We have what is called an Agricultural Commodity Risk Management Certificate, which is the only one of its kind in the entire nation. Students trade real money in real time, and it is the only program to have investors fund that trading and have hedging opportunities. So students walk away very well equipped to become production managers, financial officers or analysts, consultants or grain merchandisers, really for them to be able to disseminate the difference between or how policy trends affect market analysis. And our students walk away very well prepared to be leaders in the business world. Our next department is the Department of Entomology, Plant Pathology, and Nematology. That's a lot of big words, so I'm going to break it down. Entomology is the study of insects. Plant pathology is the study of plant diseases, and nematology is the study of nematodes, which are small organisms that live in the soil and often afflict important crops such as potatoes. So essentially, this department focuses on the vector of diseases, how diseases are transferred to plants and animals. We are the only institution in the Pacific Northwest to offer an undergraduate program in entomology. This is a specialized field and something that we are very proud to contribute towards. Our faculty do not only have their sights set on insects and plant relations throughout the state of Idaho, but we have an entire laboratory dedicated to helping abate malaria through mosquito control. So students who study entomology often become crop consultants, pest control specialists, or extension educators. But please keep in mind, if you find bugs to be inherently fascinating, then there is a thriving community at this institution who completely agrees with you. The last department I'll speak to you today about is the Department of Soil and Water Systems. And at its core, this department seeks to better understand how we can grow food efficiently and sustainably, how we can use the resources of the land to grow food, to most efficiently grow food. And our students learn the nuances of machinery and equipment, fabrication and welding. They learn hydrology and irrigation management and water conservation. They learn precision agriculture and GPS systems and drone management. This is a really systematic program about how we can make data-driven decisions to best provide the most efficient quality of food. And our students often become candidates for positions from soil scientists and agronomy to production farm managers and hydrology consultants out of this program.
Out of high school, I was searching for a career, a way to make a difference. That's when I landed at the University of Idaho. To prepare for what's ahead, you need a 21st century education and a campus as big as your dreams. Maybe the finest outdoor classrooms in the world, exceptional places, and people to match. It's where I discovered my path.
Had to get my sound going. Hi, my name is Mindy McAllister, and I work in the College of Natural Resources at the University of Idaho. I am going to talk you through, oops, I clicked away from, there we go. I'm going to talk you through a little bit about our college. We have some pretty standout programs and faculty and research that make a huge impact not only here in the state of Idaho, but really across the country and across the world. We do see quite a bit of interest from Alaskan students. If you're looking to leave Alaska, Idaho's a pretty close fit as far as programs that are similar to home. So I'm excited to talk you through a couple things here in natural resources. Our first department that I want to talk through is Fish and Wildlife, and we have 3 exciting majors in this department on campus. Those are Ecology and Conservation Biology, Fishery Resources, and Wildlife Resources. This department really points you to a number of opportunities out in the workforce. Students are studying animal ecology, behaviors and interactions, looking at habitat needs, looking at habitat restoration, looking at how to sustainably manage fish and wildlife populations. There's really a lot of social and political things to consider in fish and wildlife management. I know that's the case in Alaska, looking at the demands of recreationists and hunting and fishing and indigenous tribes, all while managing these populations is a really important thing. So the career opportunities within fish and wildlife are pretty plentiful here in Idaho, but that's especially the case in Alaska. We also have an incredible program in environmental science. It's actually one of the top 25 programs of environmental science in the country, and there are a lot of environmental science programs. I should have mentioned that fish and wildlife is a bit more rare to have as individual degree options. Environmental science, a lot of students have really heard of. In order to point this broad field into some more direct career paths, we offer 3 different options. Those are social science, physical science, and biological science. And really, as far as careers go, you have so many options if environmental science is the degree that you choose. We're looking at the hard science factors. We're looking at economics, social and political factors again. It really is a unique program in that it's also interdisciplinary across campus. So if you're interested in more the humanities side of things, the political science side of things, we have students that end up working as climate change analysts, that go on for work in hydrology. Really, like I mentioned, this is a pretty broad field, but if you know that you're interested in playing in the dirt and being part of a career that's outdoors and you're not quite sure what a good fit would be, environmental science tends to be a good first step. We also have our Department of Forest, Range, and Fire Sciences, a few unique programs in this department for sure. We do have an undergraduate major in fire ecology and management. We were the first school in the country to offer that, and we're still one of just a handful in which you can study fire at the bachelor's level. Really, fire is one of those fields that there is increasing demand for, and so we're seeing numbers grow in that program in particular. Forestry is an incredibly stable field as far as the career prospects go right now. We're seeing huge demand from industry folks. We literally have employers come to campus to fight over our forestry students. That event happens next week. And so definitely within this department, whether it's forest and sustainable products, kind of the wood products industry side of things, rangeland conservation, over half of Idaho is rangeland, some of that, high altitude desert, the beautiful rolling sagebrush hills that you might picture. Idaho has quite a bit of that, and the job opportunities are certainly there to follow. Finally, our Department of Natural Resources and Society. The primary undergraduate program in that department is Natural Resource Conservation, but there are two different options to select, again, to kind of point you down a certain career path depending on what your goals are. This department really focuses on addressing environmental issues from a number of different angles, whether it's looking at environmental education, looking at outreach programs. We have students that are looking at policy analysis, that are looking at federal level grant work, things like NEPA and USGS work, and really a lot of work with local communities all the way up to really global issues get covered in this program. I would say this is certainly more the human side of things. So if you're interested in natural resources, but you're really a people person, this might be a good fit. I'm an alum of this program. This is what I did my undergraduate in, and immediately after graduating, I went and became a park ranger. So I like to say this is our park ranger degree because that's the path it sent me on. So, do you have what it takes to play in the dirt? My answer is absolutely. There is a fit for everybody, whether it's in some of the fields that Maggie mentioned in agriculture or some of the things I just ran through regarding natural resources. One thing that I really like to suggest to students as they're exploring their best fit for a career path is to know what kind of personality traits you have that might make you excel in certain careers or might point you in a good direction as far as career fit, and even what kind of environment you're looking for in a job. So I have a couple examples here, but one thing that an example I like to use in natural resources is even if you identify as a particularly artistic person or a creative person, we have wildlife photographers. And that certainly requires knowledge of wildlife. That requires, National Geographic photographers don't just happen upon these animals. They have studied them intensively and for years and learned their habits and their habitats. And so really the possibilities are endless. Maggie, do you have an example you'd like to use for agriculture?
Yes, Mindy, I absolutely love that you talk about these artistic elements to both of these disciplines, because I think that many times people think of these as hard science disciplines and forget that there is overlap with the humanities. There is overlap with writing and literature and photography and making videos. And right now, in the aspect of storytelling, my background is in agricultural communications, and the industry of agriculture is just now realizing how powerful narratives can be drawn from people sharing their own story. And I mean, our industry is really looking for people who can share their story and use their voice to help the industry and advocate for the industry. So whether you're interested in conservation elements or in agriculture, there are trade magazines that need writers and photographers, and there is so much potential in our fields for artistic people.
Awesome. The other thing I want to mention quickly before the next slide is that most of the examples we've used today truly do require some college education. It may not be all the way up to a PhD, but some of the examples we mentioned truly are. Most wildlife biologists have at least a master's, if not a PhD, but there are options within that field that maybe don't require quite that much education. Other things I'll mention, I'll use forestry as an example. You can go be a millwright or a logger or something kind of introductory level in the forestry field with very minimal education, maybe a 6 or 9 month certificate at a technical college. So we're heavily focusing on examples that do require college because that's what we're here for, but know that if you're looking to play in the dirt, you've got everything from things that don't require education all the way up to PhDs or doctorate of veterinary medicine. Really, that doctoral level is kind of the peak of what we're looking at. Work environment is another really important thing to know about yourself, and unfortunately this is something most folks don't learn until they're out in their careers. Whether you know that you like to work alone, you're a really hard autonomous worker, or you thrive in a team environment, being introverted versus extroverted. There are also a lot of different levels of types of employment. So I like to look at, contracting or that self-employment level, private industry. We've talked quite a bit about private industry, but there are also going to be local, state, and federal level agencies, both in agriculture and natural resources, and then nonprofits. Depending on what you're interested in studying, there may be options for all of those within your field. And so knowing what kind of environment you thrive in is a really important part of this search process. And sometimes, Wendy will speak more to this when we hand it off to her in just a minute, getting internships, really getting out there, doing job shadows, networking. There are a lot of things to help figure this out before you're out in the workforce. Really quickly, we want to run through a couple things that make us pretty special here at the University of Idaho. In the College of Natural Resources, we call these our outdoor assets. These are things that other institutions really don't parallel. We have, I put 10,000 acres here, but it's actually over 12,000 acres of experimental forest just outside of Moscow. It's a working forest. Students are logging and burning and doing actual timber management. They're looking at silviculture, wildlife habitat, recreation, and we have many classes that are entirely based there, so extremely hands-on. We have a 10,400 acre ranch. It's a beautiful rangeland property, our Rinker Rock Creek Ranch in southern Idaho. And we actually partner with the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences to look at rangeland conservation. They have a cow-calf herd. I think it's about 300 animals. Does that sound right, Maggie? About 300. So that cow-calf herd gets handed off to Rinker Rock Creek, and we have wildlife students that look at livestock-wildlife interactions, invasive species, vegetation output, watershed issues, hydrology, really a number of things. We also have a beautiful campus in McCall, Idaho, which is kind of in the middle of Idaho. It's a bit of a resort town for us. That's actually what this photograph is. And we have a summer field camp for our students where they can take a forest measurements class and a field ecology class in a 3-week time span. Our Taylor Wilderness Research Station is in the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, which is quite the mouthful. It is actually the largest wilderness area outside of Alaska. So in the lower 48, Idaho has the most wilderness, and we have a little 60-acre ranch with holding in the middle of that. So we're the only institution in the country, the only university in the country to own a property within a designated wilderness in which undergraduates can live. You can actually spend a whole semester there, so pretty cool spot. We also have our Pitkin Forest Nursery, and I have students from across the university, honestly, that work there. It's a great part-time job while you're on campus. It's a working nursery, so students planted about 500,000 trees last year, just over 500,000 trees. And we send those all over the country. We actually have some contracts in which those trees go to Alaska. So some pretty exciting silvicultural and nursery management work that happens there. We also have a wildfire combustion lab. We're the only university in the country to have that as well. In Idaho, we have to wait for ideal burning conditions. We have to wait for temperature and humidity and wind speed to really be perfect, and we can't always do that, so we bring fire indoors for our students. Finally, we have an unmanned aircraft systems laboratory. That's our drone lab. Technology every day gets better when it comes to drones, LiDAR technology, remote sensing. We can fly over a forest and measure every single tree down to the inch. So really incredible work that we're doing there. I'll throw it back over to you, Maggie.
Sure thing. So I'm going to touch really briefly again on our beef center, sheep center, and dairy center, just because they are incredible assets to our students. They are all relatively close to campus, and since they're integrated with our classroom environment, students often go back and forth to those different facilities. The University of Idaho has a renowned Charolais herd. We breed purebred Charolais cattle. That's what we're known for. And our beef center facility can house about 60 to 80 steers in that environment. At our sheep center, we have a 200 animal flock of breeding ewes. We breed Polypay, Targhee, and Suffolk sheep. Not only are we looking at market quality and assessing regional differences throughout the entire state of Idaho, we're also looking at wool quality throughout those different breeding and species. And lastly, our dairy center has about 100 head of cows, and they are Jersey and Holstein crossbreds. And our students, it's a closed loop system. So the cows that are delivered there are the cows that we raise and then milk to block. And so students often, they go through the cycles with those same cows and build a relationship with those animals, which is a fun opportunity. And so students, as I said before, students go through the entire process with these animals. They vaccinate, they deliver, they artificially inseminate. And speaking of the entire cycle, let's talk a little bit about vandal brand meats, because that is another end of the cycle when we're talking about from farm to fork. So meat processing, harvesting, and retail sell. Our vandal brand meats is a meat processing facility that is student run. They are renowned throughout the industry, and we have regional grocery manufacturers that actually come and they do industry training events with our students because of how well known they are for their food safety regulations. We also have a Parker Plant Science Farm, which is an experimental research facility with trials ongoing about insect pest control, soil microbiology and ecology, as well as plant breeding and genomics throughout several different crop species that are important to the state of Idaho. We also have the Standpoint Organic Agriculture Center, and this is a farm that's solely dedicated to organic production. And one really interesting component of this facility is that we have an heirloom apple orchard. There are 68 different apple varieties in that one orchard. Now, I am from an agricultural community in Washington State, so I feel like I know my apples really well, and I'm very excited about learning about all these different heritage varieties because they're often overlooked in conventional agriculture. As Mindy previously mentioned, we do partner with the College of Natural Resources with the Nancy M. Cummings Research Extension and Education Center. It is a cow-calf and forage operation that essentially operates, that's a research facility, but essentially operates as a working ranch. There is 885 acres of irrigated pasture where we experiment with different types of forage to better understand the feeding efficiency of the beef cattle. And we do trials on artificial insemination and different proportions of breeding stock. And when we're done with them, we hand them over to the College of Natural Resources. And I can only imagine what a life of those cattle go through because they get to live in such a scenic area of the country. And the last part I'll speak on, I'm so excited to share that very soon we are breaking ground on the Center for Agriculture, Food, and the Environment. That will become the largest research dairy in the United States. I'm going to let that sit for just a second. That's right. The University of Idaho is building the largest research dairy in the entire nation. And not only will it be a research dairy, but it will also be a teaching and learning center where public entities are invited to come and learn about how milk is produced and processed. And so I think no matter if you choose College of Natural Resources or Agriculture and Life Sciences, you can know that through all of these experiences, you will be very equipped to connect your passions to connect your passions with your career and earn real life opportunities in a very scenic environment that will serve you well in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Maggie. I think in the interest of time, I'm going to skip our videos because the career component of this is really important. So I'm going to skip through these here quickly. If something we said sounds particular, no. There we go. If something in particular strikes your fancy, definitely reach out to us and we'll send you some videos. With that, I want to throw it over to Wendy.
Hi, thank you. Wow, I'm pretty honored that's a cool dog video. I'm pretty honored to be able to override that. I'm Wendy and I'm representing Career Services at the University of Idaho. And the role of Career Services is really to work with you as the student, work with employers, and also work with folks. I've had the privilege of working with Mindy and Maggie and other folks in the college faculty to really support you in your career endeavors, which helps you be successful while you're in school and looking toward the future. So, and There we go. So in career services, a big thing that we do is help you with major and career decision making. Lots of really great choices were presented to you here today. And what do all those majors mean? I could meet with 5 students in the same major, but you're all unique individuals. So we help you and support you to make informed decisions by helping you connect to resources and different support systems that can get you into opportunities that you're looking for. Of course, we help with resumes and cover letters. Those are always interesting. We meet you where you are. Internships and job searches. So internships are really a great way to get your hands into the career field and get that experience and learn. And also that helps you when you go back into the classroom as well. So we have lots of great connections to find internships and jobs. And of course, interviewing, which is always a bit nerve-wracking. We hold mock interviews, practice interviews, but also can meet with you to talk to you just about what an interview is like. I meet with lots of students in CALS and CNR who have worked on ranches or had other experience, and they haven't really gone through the interview process before, or even some that have gone through the interview process and they just want to work on their answers a little bit more. And of course, graduate and professional school applications, helping you with that essay, helping you get through that process to go on to grad school if that's something you're interested in. And a major tool that we use is Handshake. And in Handshake, we have things like next week, we're going to be having a virtual career fair, which is really great. We have over 50, and I think it's 75 employers now that are joining us for the virtual Handshake, where you can meet with employers one-on-one or go to a group session. And we have some great folks in employer relations that handle all that. We also have information sessions on campus and all sorts of opportunities for you to connect with employers. We actually encourage you to do that in your freshman year and start networking and meeting with those employers, and they love to meet with you. They come looking for you Idaho students because they know you get top-notch education. And we have tools for like career assessments. So you really, as part of this exploration, is getting to know yourself and self-reflection. And we meet you wherever that might be. You know yourself better than anyone. So that could be, we have a new video series to help you with interviews. We can over Zoom, phone, or in person, meet with you and go over your resume and documents. But we also have links to different jobs and internship resources. So we have a rich collection of resources to support you in person, but also through our website. Networking is a huge opportunity. I can't speak to this enough. In my career past, the best thing that got me into internships and to jobs was reaching out and networking and talking to folks. And so we can really help you do that. It can be kind of awkward and hard to know where to get started. We can help you find opportunities for job shadowing, how you can get connected to research projects, or how you can promote them on your resume and show that good experience. Also conducting information interviews with professionals. I know there are a couple of faculty that bring professionals in to help with that. We can also help you navigate some of that social media and use those networking platforms. That's just one example. As I mentioned, the career assessments, and one of my favorite tools is what can I do with this major, which helps you figure out what opportunities lie within the major that you're currently in and what you can do to take steps toward career success. So really in career services, your future is our mission. We take that very seriously. We want to help you and be a good campus resource and help you get to where you're going and build on the great education that you get at University of Idaho. This is also something that does not end with graduation. We will be there to support you as an alumni. All right. I'm a big fan of reflection, so I had to put this one in here, but we can probably go to the next slide to help you use your skills and strengths and values and interests to build on your education to get you in the career path that you want.
Cool. Well, I think that is about all the time that we have. So certainly appreciate our panelists, Maggie, Mindy, and Wendy, which I want to like form a band with you all because that's be a really cool name. But there's our information. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We love, obviously, to talk about this stuff and the opportunities that are outdoors. And obviously, the University of Idaho is a great way to do it, but you might see this stuff anywhere else. But we're proud of what we got. So with that, we'll quickly look to see if there's any Q&A. And you can reach out to us here or come visit the campus virtually using those QR codes. And we got some really cool stuff online. I don't see any open questions, but type them in there real fast and we'll respond. So I wish I could go back to school because like literally every one of those majors I want to like go study, I swear. But anyways, Kim, thank you.
Yes, thank you all. I really appreciate the opportunity for the presentation today. It definitely makes me want to go back to school. And your campus looks beautiful. So I am going to attempt to share this last slide. There is
Let
going
me
to be a quick
stop sharing here.
Okay, perfect.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, you know how it is. This is not popping up on. Let me try this again. I will try to share this real quick. There we go. So there's going to be a quick survey after you close the window. There'll be a 4-question survey will appear. Again, you can sign up for more sessions at www.strivescan.com/Alaska. And just as a reminder, the recordings are going to be available at strivescan.com again, /Alaska, same place. And those will be out in about a week or so. So if there are no more questions, we will end this session. And I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate the panelists, and thanks to the University of Idaho for being here today. Hope you all have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.